Okay?
Yep.
You have a tendency, just in watching you have a tendency to overpower your casting stroke just a little bit. You're trying to force the rod to bend, and I think if you back off and just swing the rod tip a little more smoothly, you're going to get much better response out of this thing.
Yeah, I do try to kill the rod occasionally. Better?
It's better. Open your stroke up just a little bit. Open the swing. This grip too is, if it's comfortable for you, fine. All right, keep that on there. Swing your rod tip back a little bit more and drive the tip forward a little bit more. You're trying to keep your casting stroke so narrow that you end up having to try to chop the rod or pound on the rod in order to make it bend. And you'll develop your power more smoothly with a little more of an open stroke. Okay, and that'll take that shock wave right out of your line.
It also won't kill your arm either.
Right. Easy. There. Nothing wrong with that at all. Your back cast is a little bit low, but that's a lot more fluid. When you pick the line up off the water, it's an advantage to have the line in the left hand in your case, okay? And the reason for that is you create a little bit more friction with that fly line by making it work back and forth through the guides. And your cast will be a little more efficient because of that friction. You lose that if you try to make right, you lose that advantage of the stripping guide when you lock the fly line against the rod handle. But keep it out in here. And that's really the trick. Basically, you have good mechanics. You just don't have complete control over it yet so that you can smooth out. And that's the thing that you want to be headed for, is a real smooth, controlled casting stroke. Easy. That's the idea.
So?
Much better. Much better. It's still, in my opinion, a little too wristy, but it's not bad.
Okay.
There you go. Now, if you get your forearm involved just a little bit more and the wrist just a little bit less, you're going to get a lot more leverage. And I notice, too, you have a problem with a tailing loop once in a while where you have your leader hit your fly line, okay? And that'll happen is, you know, in your casting stroke, you keep that forearm right here, and then you try to flip the rod back and forth with a wrist, okay? And again, shocking it like that with a wrist
is doing that.
Causes that tailing loop. So if you would lift your forearm just a little bit more and then bring it down some, okay, that's also going to, it'll make your rod tip move in a little more of an arc, and it'll help open that loop up right at the very end of the cast. You notice that the tail's gone? But what we're doing is we're kind of raising and lowering the forearm just a little bit. Now, there's a tailing loop, overpowered on the forward cast. Back off just a little bit, just a little bit. Okay, in fact, I think it'd be more comfortable if you kept this down in here instead of, all right, keeping it up here trying to cast. Down low. Now keep your elbow low. There, we'll take that loop out, okay? Very easy to want to crack that wrist back too much and then end up shocking the rod on the forward cast. When you swing this thing, try to use your wrist minimally, all right? There has to be some wrist, but it's very, very little.
Yeah.
Okay?
Yep.
Smooth. Lay it down. Better.